Thank you, sir. And because I'm a bit shy and don't like the sound of my own voice, I thought I'd start with a quick intro video, which hopefully will give you an overview of what we do.
As man has evolved, so too has our desire to explore, measure, and understand the world around us. We've crafted tools to build shelter, great structures, and cities. We've discovered new lands beyond the horizon, and new worlds above. We found new ways to communicate and share our discoveries. Paper has given way to digital. Mapping data has moved from 2D to 3D. Today, laser scanners allow us to easily capture the world around us. However, the resulting data is huge and unwieldy. What was once a 3D data trickle has turned into an unmanageable data deluge. Introducing Pointera, a powerful cloud-based solution that allows you to instantly render dynamic views of your 3D data, no matter the size. Access your data from the convenience of a browser, share it securely, or monetize it through our world-first online marketplace. Whether you're in design and construction, maintenance and asset management, or surveying and data acquisition, Pointera is the solution for easily managing and sharing your 3D data. Visit Pointera.com and click on Try It to learn more.
So that's me. Thanks. It was great to meet you all. Next speaker. No, there's a bit more. Sorry. I'll crack on. So what is Pointera? We're a technology company, obviously. We're here today amongst some fantastic technology companies. And our particular solution allows companies and businesses that are asset intensive to turn all that 3D data that we just saw in the animation into information. If there's a couple of takeaways today, I'll highlight them, but one is that we turn data into information and we let people solve real world problems every day, everywhere. So the next question is, what is 3D data? Where does it come from and why is it used? Back in 2007, when I first got involved in the sector, it was $250,000 sensors parked on tripods like the one you see there. But more recently, they've become mobile and even embedded in driverless cars. And then they've moved to drones and, of course, high-altitude aircraft. We gave a bit of a highlight in the presentation about what the problem is with 3D data, and we liken it to drinking from a fire hydrant. It's simply, the file sizes are massive, and the analysis, the workflow that's required to turn data into information requires enormous amounts of workflow. So a lot of data is shipped offshore to very highly talented but very low labour cost environments where hundreds of people sit in rooms and punch out 3D data sets and turn them into maps and other information. We came together in 2015, myself, our tech team out of Rio and a couple of the Nearmap founders, and we envisaged a solution that would take all of that workflow, which involves hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at workstations like this, and deploy our technology into the cloud so that people could automate that very painful workflow and remove a ton of time and cost. And from my perspective, that's all any technology solution is. Any technology solution that's got any value as compared to price will be something that makes a difficult or a costly or a painful process more simple. And what Pointera does is turn 3D data into actionable information. Our proprietary 3D data structures, and this is the IP behind our business, as the animation suggested, allow us to, deployed in the AWS or the Amazon cloud platform, allow our customers to see their data in ways they weren't able to use it in ways they weren't able to analyse it, to share it and even monetise it. And that's why we've come up with our little tagline of 3D data solved. Because most people's eyes start to glaze over after a few too many words, I thought I'd run through a bunch of images that demonstrate the use of our platform by customers that are paying us money all around the world to use our solution to solve workflow problems in their business and to send data and analytics to their customers. So this, if you're we've got customers in the design and construction sector, engineers, architects, town planners, regulators, and typically people start with bare earth and they want to get to this sort of outcome, this is the wonderful stadium in Perth where I'm from. So if you're in design and construct, how do you get from this to this? Well, one of the first things you do is use a ton of 3D data. This is that stadium captured in about 250 scans by one of our customers. And I think if there's another takeaway for you guys today, it's that our point cloud data and 3D data doesn't look great. It doesn't look really cool like a high definition image from one of those fantastic aerial mapping companies. But the dots are accurate. The points are what matter, and the points are what engineers and architects and construction firms and asset management firms pay money for. The end result is this fantastic stadium you see here, and that customer of ours with that little laser scanner on that tripod captured all those scans you can see in the blue, red, green dots on the side of that page. So that's one example of Pointera in use. Similar project in Perth, a wonderful little waterfront facility we have. They wanted to get from this pile of earth to this outcome, and again, one of our customers laser scanned the entire place and used that. That data was used by about 25 project contractors across the duration of the project, which took about 2 years. So that's design and construct. We've also got customers that manage geographically distributed assets. In this case, one of our largest customers in Australia is a utility down the other side of the border. That's an aerial representation of their entire transmission and distribution network. So it's something like 40,000 square miles. And if you're managing an asset that's that diverse, and you've got to keep the lights on and the power running and the food cold in every corner of the great state of Victoria, having all of your data available in one place, but being able to zoom in really quickly to street level, and then to pole level, and then to be able to throw analytics at it, so that not that costly, time-consuming workflow of people sat at workstations, but actually cloud-deployed analytics to do simple things like model the pole or model the wires. This is an example of Pointera in use on a daily basis by customers in the utility sector. Our platform is particularly suited to geographically dispersed assets, so we call them linear infrastructure assets, so road, rail, pipelines and power transmission distribution networks. We've got a couple of those customers in Australia. We've got 3 in the US. To give you an idea of the scale of the US opportunity, there's something like 250 investor-owned or private utilities and about 2,500 state and county-owned. So the opportunity in that one sector alone for us is enormous. It's an addressable market of probably $50 million of recurring revenue for our type of solution. Of course, we've also got customers that want to use drones to undertake remote inspection. This is a water tower covered in cell phone antennas, and we've got customers that fly these missions and then use our platform to deliver this sort of asset inspection capability, remote inspection capability to their customers. We've also got local authorities in the UK, in Australia and in the US who drive those laser scanner vehicles down roads and capture. On the left-hand side, you can see an aerial view of a 3D data set, and each of those yellow dots represents a spherical image, a bit like your Google Street View. This stuff has millimetre accuracy, whereas in sort of free and open solutions like Google's, it's more about having a look at something. This is about being able to accurately measure and interpret and indeed manage the underlying road asset. This is one of my favourite data sets because it just shows Pointera at scale. I think any time you can see the curvature of the Earth in a mapping sense, you can start to appreciate the scale of the data that we handle. And this is a small part of the MH370 search, where you can see the boat left in and out of Fremantle, and this is underwater bathymetry. So from a Pointera perspective, we don't care whether the data comes from satellites, from planes, from drones, from fixed-wing aircraft, from mobile or handheld data, or indeed towed sonar arrays. We're a solution for all types of 3D data. So how do we make money? People pay us to host their data. That allows them to see it and use it and analyse it and share it, and more recently even monetize it. I think the animation talked about how we've created a data marketplace, and increasingly, because we sit in the middle as a pure platform play of people that generate 3D data and people that use it and consume it, we're able to connect the owners of data with with people who might require it and ordinarily would have gone and procured it, but in many cases are willing to reuse and repurpose existing data that might only be an 80% fit, but they get immediate access to it. And that sort of revenue clip creates a tremendous opportunity for us. There's few certainties in life, but one of the certainties in the asset management space is that the generation of 3D data is going to continue to expand at a compound rate, and the complexity and the problems that need to be solved and the workflow challenges that arise from dealing with that data are only going to grow. So as a pure platform play, Pointera, we don't collect data, we simply host other people's data, and we deploy cloud analytics. We deploy analytics solutions to the cloud to automate the extraction of information. More recently, in this year in particular, we've moved into the field of artificial intelligence or machine learning, which is, and they're all great words that people like to roll off. What it really means is you perfect a code or an analytic and you deploy it, and in an automated sense, and the algorithms are smart. They learn, they get faster and better and more accurate. And for us, we've moved from pure data as a service into data and analytics as a service, and as I said before, more recently to leveraging other people's data through our 3D data marketplace. We started reporting annual contract value at the start of this calendar year, and we'll report, and we do that quarterly, and we'll report that again next quarter. And whilst businesses like ours are required to report cash flow on a quarterly basis, that blunt instrument that's really a legacy of the Junior Explorer ASX reporting regime is foisted on businesses like ours that are trying to grow, and of course cash is king, but the annual contract value or the sum of what our customers are paying us at any one time, interpreted as an annual figure, is what's really going to drive the investment attraction of our solution and of our company, and of course move us towards cash flow break even and profitability. The opportunity is massive. I think I've spoken about that before. 3D data is used across virtually every sector that is centred around designing, planning, insuring, constructing, maintaining, deconstructing any sort of physical asset. And on the right-hand side is increasingly being used in emerging areas such as the driverless car programs that we see in different parts of the world. These brands, about 2/3 of those are paying us money at the moment, and the other third are on a promise. The great thing about our platform is that it costs us very little for people to try it out. It's not software. People sign up, they upload some data, they explore, they figure out if we solve a problem for them. If we do, we tend to agree on a value outcome, and I think my old man used to tell me that price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And we work really hard with our customers to establish a value proposition and an ROI. So if I want someone to pay me $1 a month, I'd like to say that I'm saving them $5 to $10 a month. And that's certainly the premise about how we go about attracting and retaining customers. Most of our customers are paying us more today than they did 6 months ago and last year. So and our customer base is very sticky. So that ACV, we expect that to continue to grow. We're trying to grow it at about $500,000 a quarter. And the installed base continues to grow as well as we leverage additional services on top of data as a service, which is principally our analytics platform and, of course, our 3D data marketplace. So why would you buy a share in Pointera? We think we've got world-class technology. We've got a globally scalable business that has almost no barrier to entry in any market. We've got a fantastic team both here and in the US, and the US team's just expanded from 2 to 4 overnight, and the size of the US operation is just fantastic. We're so excited about that. We've got a clear pathway to earnings, and right now we think we've got a really attractive valuation, and are going to demonstrate compound growth in our ACV as we report into the future. Quick snapshot of our corporate overview. Our market cap, as I said, is about $30 million. We've got 500 million shares on issue. And importantly, the founders, myself, some of the Nearmap guys, and our tech team who came out of Rio Tinto, we're all holders. We own 40% of the business. We bootstrapped it for 3 years before we RTO'd it back in 2016. and we're here for the long run. We've escrowed our stock before, but none of us have ever sold, and we're not likely to. So I've got 6 seconds left. How good's that? Thanks very much, everyone. Pointera 3D data solved. Here you go.